Good morning, and yet another fun-filled last day, apparently, of summer. We're about to get into autumn in a big, fast way, I guess, tomorrow. So it's the last sunny day, sun-filled. And listening to the news, the local news. They apparently had a school board meeting talking about tolerance is what it really comes down to. Kids being bullied that are from other countries or not of the area. And I have to kind of shake my head. I would have loved to have known that this was going to happen, because I actually probably would have gone. So I'm going to say my piece here. Nothing's changed since when I was in school. But to look at it in a different light, in a different perspective, North Kitsap in particular, have and have-nots. It used to be the stoners and jocks. Back in my day, but even then it had its other breakdowns. But the thing comes down on tolerance. You know, if a person walks in and they're not of the area, we'll say. It doesn't matter where they're from, or if they can speak the full language or whatever. They've got to deal with the tolerance 24/7. The people that are there because of complacency, because of just being status quo and this is how we do things, and you know, this is our home type thing, they lack that tolerance anymore. And I will say it that way, and it doesn't mean picking on them. I'm just saying, hey, tolerance is a two-way street. Okay? You become complacent pretty soon if change comes on, like we're talking about coming into fall. You know, you have to accept it. You know, you can, unless you have, there's some things that you have control of, some things you don't. Okay, but the fact is that if you become complacent, and all of a sudden, for some reason, someone comes into that circle, and you say, no, you have to act this way, that's not tolerance. Tolerance is understanding who they are and dealing with it on that level. You know, now, are you going to be accepting of them? Well, that's remains to be seen. But if we're truly to expand as a town, as a county, as a community, as a village, if we're willing to expand, we have to accept that we're going to have to learn the curve of tolerance as well. And just like the person coming in, they are totally, I'll say, submissive and aware that they are the minority, or that they are, you know, they're the newcomer, they're the incoming, however you want to put it. And those that are here are totally aware that they have new people coming in. And the change is something that they may not want to do. Now, if you put that down into a child, okay, that's an adult paradigm that you force on a kid. Speaks directly to the acceptance or tolerance on a racial level, on a just being different level. You know, person walks with a limp, person has purple blotch on their face or something like that. Anything. You pick a thing. You know. They could be totally just a normal, I say normal, but totally just a person that you couldn't pick out of the crowd of that community unless you had a little bit more descriptive. And yet they may be singled out because they are new. Okay? The things that we teach our kids know this, but there's those kids that are willing to stand by the side and either talk or not, or ignore them or whatever. And then there's those kids that are willing to go, hey, you want to play with us? Or, where are you from? Or what's your name? The kids that are most accepting and the kids that are engaging are the ones that are going to excel. And I'm not saying success on a monetary level. I'm talking about success in a mindset, in a wisdom, in a love of the people around them. Okay? And that's what it means to have tolerance. I hope that everything works out within the school district, but it really hasn't changed since when, like what I said, when I was in high school. I was a newcomer, and I would hitchhike miles at night just to go up and watch, because back then we had school bands or school dances, and we had live bands playing. I'd hitchhike for miles just to go and listen to a live band. In part because, well, my parents didn't care whether I did or not. Different time. But also, I would do it just out of the love of doing it. The chance to dance with a gal or some girl that that normally wouldn't give me the time of day during a day of school. Well, that's things that Breakfast Club are made out of, right? And sure enough, they wouldn't give me the time of day later on. I wasn't involved in too many circles, but that was a shining light for me to do. It was something that I loved to do. I saw the love of that kind of thing in their eyes, but they also had that we've been in this community, our parents have been in this community, and we're complacent kind of ideology. Not so much better than you, but the tolerance hadn't been taught them. Okay? I'll say it that way. Whereas mine, there was no border. There's no filter. So, it's just a learning curve that we have to learn as a society, as a community, as a village, because it takes a village. Okay? And that's the wisdom, and if you want to go religious, that's the wisdom that a higher authority that God gave us to accept each other. Not to be so narrow-minded. To get out of your village occasionally and realize there's a big world out there. That's what I wanted to say. My Friday thought for the day. Nothing but love. And the last day of summer as the sun's coming up. And wish you all the best.